How are things going in Foxborough this week? How are the football people handling the major shakeup?
Excited?
That is Drake Maye.
Excited for the big
being
start?
on the field on Sunday come game time. Someone in-house is already crapping on the kid and his confidence. That's already begun. They're peeing in the pool.
I missed
They're
that.
poisoning the well. They're starting nonsense before he's ever stepped on the field.
I missed that. What was...
Well, let me play it for you. You can tell me who you think it's coming from. Here it is.
The only concern that the Patriots have, bringing him in this early, confidence. There's more games now to be played on a team that we know is not extremely talented and is in a rebuild for your confidence to get whacked. They saw it happen with Mac Jones his second season, and sometimes when that confidence gets destroyed, you don't bounce back. I mean, that's really the concern, that they want to make sure that doesn't happen.
That's James Palmer, formerly NFL Network, now Bleacher Report, saying the Patriots internally, there's someone there that has issues with his confidence. They're worried about his confidence.
I don't think they're worried about his confidence. That's not what I read listening to James there. Like, my read on it is that, like, they're worried they're putting him in a situation that will destroy his confidence, which
What's the need to say that before he's even on the field?
Because, like, a lot of times reporting like that comes from before they make the move, right? Like, which is, if you're doing the job, then you've been talking to these people all along, which is, you know, that means 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe you were talking to the coach to say, well, we don't want to mess with the kid's confidence. We want to put him in a position where he can succeed. You're assuming that this is coming from the last couple of days. I wouldn't make that assumption. And I do think it's a concern, and I don't think this is the right spot to put him in there. Like, I think this is I look at this like I think that they had sequenced everything intelligently. Like, I think that a plan was working. This is the wrong spot to put him in. Like, it's a weird decision, like, to do it right now. I think what it boiled down to, and you guys heard my reporting on Sunday, right? Like, which was that he was becoming the best quarterback on the team. Like,
they were going to give Jacoby one more shot.
I think this was purely about he is now our best option, and everybody knows it, so we have to go with him.
When you say everybody, you're talking about teammates.
I think when the players start to know it, then it's done.
There you go.
I did not get weird decision vibe from your tweet from 2 days ago.
I think it's weird timing. Like, I don't agree.
I know.
With the
I'm just saying.
Throwing him out there against Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and that pass rush. I just look. I said it there.
Who are you blaming for that? Whose fault is it?
Overnight, and
Whose fault is
I don't know who pushed the button on this one, but I assume it's Gerard. And like I look at it, and it's hard not to look at this and say.
So is Gerard making a bad decision?
It's hard not to look at this and say the team needs a spark. And I look at this the same way I look at the Jets' decision to throw Saleh overboard when they did. It's like a lot of people in the Jets organization right now are asking the question, what is this going to accomplish? If they get beat down by Buffalo on Monday night, then what? You know? Like, that's the way I look at that decision. And I look at this
They're in the same position they were in last week.
And I look at this the same way.
What's the diff?
I look at it this way, though. It's if you're doing this to create a spark, if you're doing this because the kid's creating some excitement in practice, and then they get their you-know-what knocked in on Sunday against Houston, then what?
I'm having a hard time squaring what you're saying right now with this tweet from the other day.
Why?
Which is you said he became the team's best option at quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
You said momentum's been pushing in this direction for a few weeks. His footwork and
100%.
knowledge of defenses has grown consistently. His work by against the blitz has jumped recently. This didn't happen overnight.
It didn't.
If all those things are true,
that's independent.
Why is it a weird decision? He's the best option at quarterback. You said it yourself.
That's independent of the spot you're putting him in. I'm talking purely about the spot you're putting him in. You're throwing him in there against Houston, and I just think it's the wrong decision. Like, that's all. Like, I think what you should be trying to do is building the kid up. If you were doing this against Jacksonville and London, even that would be a little funky because going to London creates some different challenges. But then it's like, okay, like, I can see why you're doing it against an opponent that this looks like maybe it's the softest landing on the schedule.
They should have given him Dolphins.
Yeah,
like, I felt so strongly coming out of San Francisco. Like, that's it. They've seen enough.
And with and with Jalen Phillips out, and with Bradley Chubb out,
Ramsey was knocked out. Was beaten up a little bit.
Yeah.
They lost their safety. You're down to the fourth quarterback.
I mean, like, do you want the kid's first NFL experience be having Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter in his face all day? Is that what you're looking for?
No, nobody picked this week. This was not the best week for this. No, nobody had this one marked. Last week would have been better.
Right.
Which is why I was telling you a week ago that it would have been better. We had seen in San Francisco Jacoby Brissett's worst start to that point, and then we got one that was even worse.
And then next week would be better too.
Yeah.
It would be, but you'd have to suffer through another non-competitive game with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
It just smacks to me of someone feeling the pressure, someone feeling the heat, someone doing something that is outside of what is right for the quarterback. And what should be the priority is the development of the young quarterback. If I am the coach, I am not throwing him out there against this Houston team. I'm just not. And you saw what Houston did to – now, Josh Allen's numbers were skewed a little bit because he was possibly concussed for a good portion of that game, you know. But Josh Allen didn't play very well against them. And the Bills have a better offensive line than you do. The Bills have better weapons than you do.
Well, Mac Jones.
Bills
I did it again. I've got to stop doing this. I see 10 and I say Mac Jones. Will Drake Maye complete more than 9 passes on Sunday? That's what Buffalo had last week, right? 9 completed passes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
All right.
So.
Well, he'll do better than Josh Allen.
Confident he will. Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he won't be concussed.
It's all about that confidence. Offense under Alex Van Pelt and his right-hand man, Jacoby Brissett, who has now been benched, saying a short time ago in the Patriots locker room on losing the starting job, I've been through harder things in my life. I would also say it's easier to take when you don't have to go out there and get beat up on Sunday and you still get to collect the $8 million. I'd be feeling pretty good about it, too.
Sure. Pressure's off now.
Let the body rest.
But real question, Bert, where's the jet through? Where's the deep crosser off short motion? All that misdirection that we love so much with this West Coast offense that we saw a little bit in the preseason.
Yeah, and you'd hope it starts to reappear now, and they're going to be doing some things to make Drake comfortable. I did ask this question to somebody a couple weeks ago, like, when Drake gets in there, are you going to start to incorporate North Carolina stuff? And the answer I got is that it's already in. So they've been installing stuff to make Drake more comfortable, to get him going a little bit. I'd assume you probably see him out of the gun a little bit more than you saw Jacoby Brissett.
Sweet. Love it.
I assume you're going to be doing things to make him more comfortable, which is what every smart NFL team does. Is if you're going to play your quarterback early, you have to meet him halfway, because most college offenses are very different than NFL offenses. So the intelligent thing to do, it's what the Chiefs did with Mahomes, it's what the Ravens did with Lamar, it's what the Bills did with Josh Allen. Like, you meet the guy halfway in order to make him more comfortable and put him in a position to succeed.
Bert, is Alex Van Pelt going along with this willingly? Or is he getting dragged into this?
No, I think I would say that they all felt like, this is my perception again, and I sort of reported some of this on Sunday morning, that they felt like he was becoming the best quarterback on the team, which sounds like a simple thing. And, he's not already better than Jacoby Brissett. Well, there's a difference between being the most talented and the best, right? And so you have to remember that what you're doing with your quarterback doesn't just affect that one person. It also affects what you're doing with the other 10 people in the huddle.
Right.
And so how much you're able to do with the other 10 guys in the huddle is an important piece to all of this. And Drake had gotten to the point with that where over the weekend, when I checked in with a few different people, it consistently came back he's like closing in on being the best quarterback on the team. And that's when it becomes harder to be patient with him. That's when it becomes harder to say we're taking another week. And again, I just don't think this is the spot, guys. I just don't think this is the spot, but that's just my opinion.
So if he's on board and they feel like he's the best option, why is it that Gerard Mayo at his press conference the other day wouldn't exactly say that? I wonder that, because he wouldn't directly say that it was a decision that everybody wanted to make, other than to say that everybody was now on board with it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he had conveyed in his press conference a couple of days ago that this was
that could come from anyone.
Everybody pulling in the same direction and that they were all really into Drake Maye starting. I don't get that feel.
That could come
based on the public comments that Alex Van Pelt has made multiple times, based on the fact that I went back, Bert, and I listened to you on this very program with us over the course of the last month, and you would consistently reference November.
Yep.
as a time you could consider
November
Drake
1st.
May.
November 1st was my over.
And that felt very informed, November, which means they came off a plan, and I think you're saying as much, that they came off whatever plan they did have in mind.
I think that they expected Jacoby Brissett to play better than he has.
Yeah,
what a mistake.
Which, now here's where the expectation on that is based. I think the expectation on that is based on how Jacoby Brissett played for Alex Van Pelt in Cleveland in 2022. The difference is very obvious. In Cleveland, he had Nick Chubb behind him. In Cleveland, he was throwing to Amari Cooper. In Cleveland, he had Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin.
Stevenson.
But I'm saying the totality of it. The totality of it, of everything.
He actually had better receivers, yeah.
Right. And so, he had a situation where he didn't have to be the best player on the field every play. And it sort of feels like that's what the Patriots need the quarterback to be right now because of the talent deficiency. And that's going to be the challenge for Drake is how do they manage the talent deficiency? And I think this is the important thing to watch on Sunday and going forward is, are they keeping him out of long yardage? Are they keeping the score manageable? Those are the two things that I think put the quarterback a young quarterback in the worst situation when you're playing from behind and when you're in 3rd and long. Because that's when they can really tune up what they can do, what they're going to do defensively, start to get creative on you, start to get exotic on you, and that generally is when rookie quarterbacks really take a beating.
Do you think they're hesitant to call runs with him, to keep the hits off him?
To run with it? I've
out of pistol. Say you get pistol, RPO.
I've actually heard a lot of coaches, though. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this. I've heard a lot of coaches say that quarterbacks with that ability are in a lot less danger when it's a designed run versus when it's a scramble. Because at least on a designed run, they know where they're going. They know where their blockers are.
Where can I get down?
They know when it's time to get down.
That makes sense.
If you're in a scramble situation, you don't know. You really don't have a great handle on.
No, you're in a free-for-all.
Right. Yeah. So, you're actually, on designed runs, you're putting your quarterback in a better position to protect himself than you would be in scramble situations.
All right, 617-779-0985, the phone number if you want to jump on board with Bert Breer. Let's go back to your calls with Danny in New Hampshire. Danny.
Hey, I'm just I listen to you guys, and I just feel like the whole narrative with protecting him and protecting him and protecting him is crazy. He's the 3rd overall pick.
Well, that's over.
Does anyone think maybe he's really excited about being on that stage versus the Texans?
No, he's a competitive
you know what
kid.
I mean?
He will be. I'm sure he's fired up. What I know about him is that, he's a great he's a great competitor. That was 100% his rep coming out of North Carolina. What we're talking about is not he feels like he needs to be protected. What we're talking about is when you're developing a quarterback and changing some of his habits. And there's that whole the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 reps thing, right? Where it's you have to do something over and over and over and over again to make it a habit. That's what we're talking about with rebuilding his lower half, rebuilding his feet, teaching him how to tie his eyes to the feet, all that different stuff that he was sort of had to rebuild.
It's 10,000 hours, not reps.
10,000 hours. There you go.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You don't want the progress that you made undone. And the way, from a quarterbacking standpoint, you undo that progress is you get a guy knocked around. And it's different than it is with Caleb or with Jaden Daniels because those guys didn't need the rebuilding fundamentally that Drake needed.
But that's now done. Seems like he's good to go. Became the best option, picking up the blitz.
Yeah.
There's the reprogramming ahead of schedule.
Well, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. The one thing I'm worried about is is him getting knocked around going to mess up the work that you've done the last 6 months? There's
not if it's second nature.
Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels have been handled very differently too. There are different ways to do this. Jaden Daniels, they built an offense for Jaden Daniels. We are going to run something that you're comfortable with. Jaden Daniels had 5 years of experience playing in college. With the Bears and Caleb Williams, they basically took the Peyton Manning approach.
So
which is throw him out there, let him make his mistakes. We're confident that he'll be able to work his way through them.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.